We're just going to be picking up on some current events. Lots going on in the world today, of course. We have all the craziness of the clown world going on, flat Earth updates, and yeah. How's it going, Nate?
Good. And we're live on Facebook as well. Let's go. Yeah, good, mate. Very good. Just checking in. How's the world on your end of things?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know me, I'll be going on vacation in 2 days. I cannot wait. The beach.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Mate, not much. We've everything's pretty much business as usual at the moment. We've got a lot of governmental stuff happening and things like that, but nothing fun, nothing good from our side.
October's a weird month for me. When me and my wife first got together, the first week of October, I would always have these self-destructive moments. And always a week around this time, I've gotten better at learning how to dampen the blow of that. I don't know if it's because there's a certain star constellation above me at night or whatever the case may be, but there's a week in October that mentally puts a strain on my behavior.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you know the particular week?
It was the first week for the longest. It seems like it's drifting later in the month.
Ooh. That does sound astral. Just the fact that it's even drifting.
Yeah. I've never really believed in this stuff, so I started like knowing myself. Yeah, knowing myself. Yeah. But it was a pattern my wife and I noticed with my behavior, and it was just once you can know about your behavior and admit there's something going on there, you can fix it. And then
correct.
So my wife is a Libra. She's October 8th. So her birthday is right around that time. So it was very stressful for her because I was always selfish at this point in time, and we're at a time where I should be like showering her with affection and birthday presents, and I was always self-destructing at these moments and not mentally stable or chemically imbalanced. Whatever the case may be, those moments for me were they're very bipolar. I don't know at times in my life, but I seem to have gotten that under control.
I think there's definitely.
Do you have any times of years where you're like a little off?
I haven't noticed the pattern with time of year, but now you're going to make me notice it because I think everyone would have a pattern, to be honest.
At least like a bad week somewhere, yeah.
Man, I'll tell you now, like everyone has relationship patterns, like as far as cycles over.
You know, they say sayings are always true, right? Like I must be having a bad day. What if everybody individually has their own bad day of the year, where it's just bad for them?
Yeah.
Where it's just it's like a script or something for each individual. That's what I'm starting to think the programs in the world are, like the circuits of the lights. I think I'm starting to in like how the clouds get cleaned up the sky and rain, and just how I observe everything. Everything just seems to be like on some script.
Yeah, well, even the stars and the way the stars then relate to your mood, or the moon and the moon cycles and all those things, like they're very intrinsically connected, and it's almost like there is a script that runs it that programs how certain behaviors happen. There's a reason why like emergency and first responders talk about full moons, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that sort of thing. There's a relationship between different things, and I've noticed lately there's a lot of astrology going on where it's stirring a lot of energies in people up, and there's a lot of unfolding and people being thrust with the truth right in their face, and they can't avoid it, right? And a lot of people have done so much avoiding of it for so long that life's bringing everything to the front.
No, yeah. Funny you say that. I was driving a couple around doing Uber trips, and the lady was in the back, and I was telling her, she said her flights were backed up, and I said, oh, it's because of all the pilots that quit because there were going to be forced vax mandates or whatever, supposedly. And then she goes, oh, that's not true. Something's wrong with the computer system, and they said that's why it was backed up and it failed out. It was because And I was like, I'd never even heard that yet. And I guess that was on the TV or something being told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one was weather. Apparently, in your country, they said that the weather was the issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
There was a British Airways guy that died midair the other day.
Huh. I'd never
And
heard that either.
And they had to do an emergency landing.
It's always funny too, the different news reports across the world that you hear that are completely different. I remember the first time I found RT, and I would watch RT and then like ours, and I was like,
yeah, hang on a second,
what's going on here? Like, that's not what they tell us. Like, why are they?
Yeah, that's right.
Then there was a completely different paradigm there. It blew my mind.
Mm.
That was like a long time ago when I found RT though. That was like before I woke up. So
if TV was like played in Australia and they talked about Australia at the moment, how they are, and they're laughing about while they're joking about we had like cases and we locked down 25 million people, and if Australians actually understood that in terms of how insane that sounds, our country would be in a revolt. Our country would just stop and go, no, fuck, what the fuck? Like, you took our guns and now we're doing this? I'd be like,
Yeah, my wife always says it like this. She always gives me this advice, and then like I'll hear somebody else say it, and she'll be right next to me. But then I'll be like, "Oh, you're right," and she's like, "How come somebody else has to say it for you to hear me and not?" I'm like, what? It's the same thing. Yeah, it's like your ears open, I guess. Like,
my mate Mark Denoyer says, you have to say something 7 times for someone to hear it once.
Like Beetlejuice, huh? Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, so it's interesting, man. It's the cycle thing that you said. I've got an app called The Pattern, and it actually tells you different astrological parts of your life and where they are. So, like, some of the cycles are 84 months, and it says you're coming out of an 84-month cycle at the moment. And I'm like, fuck, to even fathom how long that is and what I've actually been living in the middle of, and then maybe trying to fight against them, not knowing, is like, wow, I really want to know about those things, because if you can align yourself with the stars and with what you're meant to be doing, it's probably going to be a lot easier ride for you than trying to fight against something that you're meant to actually just deal with.
You know, I've noticed the cycle and the weather since from being a child to now. The like when you were a kid, I remember it being really cold in September. And then now it seems like it takes longer to get cold, and it stays colder longer later. Like there's some kind of shift, and then maybe it slowly sets back, and then it resets, and
like a blinking eye.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what I kind of think. I've always noticed, and growing up, that the weather seems to like slowly drift, like shift from early in the year to late in the year, and the moon does it too. Over the past 5 years of recording the moon's phases, from a beginning of the year, the moon will end at a different point in the sky than it will later in the year, and each time the moon phase ends, it's at a slighter like lower angle towards the sun, so that at the very end of the year, the sun's real close to it as it's disappearing. So it's the angle changes throughout the year. It gets like it drifts back and back with the moon as well. So I guess they all kind of do their own little circuits.
The seasons don't correlate to what they did when I was a kid. That's for sure.
No, they're slightly different. Yeah,
like as far as also the temperatures as well. But right, and then people say climate change and all this shit. I'm like, it's not climate change. Climate change is a hoax, guys. I'm sorry to fucking break it to you, but like, we are fucking the planet. We're fucking the planet royally. There's people spraying shit in the air right now that's ending up on your beaches. It's magnetic. It's not meant to be there, right? I'm telling you, bad stuff's happening, but I'm not saying that Industrial Revolution has even put a glitch on this thing. This thing's way bigger than anyone could control with a couple of fossil fuels that you burn in the air. And also understand that the oil's never running out, right? You guys think there's like an oil reserve. What the fuck else made it for the last 50 billion gazillion years? Like, where do you think this stuff comes from? It's coming from under the ground. It's a substance that's always everywhere. It's like all the other minerals and everything. You'll find them if you keep digging. Yeah. The planet's making the stuff. It's a constant factory of the stuff.
It's funny that so I was in the oil field and I got into it with.
Just to give everyone a side note, Preston worked in rigging, right? So Preston's done a lot of different things, and that was one of his jobs. Go for it.
Yeah, so I worked in the oil field, and they'd never even heard the theory of oil being a renewable resource, not coming from fossils. And it was pretty funny because I highly respect my supervisor. He's one of the smartest men I ever come across. Instantly figure out a problem to whatever was going on out in that oil field instantly. Like, very smart man. Like, and when I started talking, he would always like be quiet. He would never respond. And when I was the conspiracy theorist out of our whole team, right? So whenever something happened or anything was said, mockery was made, jokes were made on me. Flatliner was what I was called by my buddy. Flatliner. So he would always.
I like that line.
Yeah. Where was I going with this? But
the guy that you worked with and the knowledge and understanding things to do with what was going on in the oil field.
Oh yeah. When I was talking about the fossil fuels, he was he noticed what I was saying made sense. I could tell there was lights going off in his head. He just didn't say nothing. And they do that. They just don't deplete it. They get it down and they get it down to a certain low level, and then they move on to a different well, and then they come back to it, and then they go to a different one. Why is that filling up constantly? It's renewing on its own. Like, and I was like, if those are dinosaur bones, why are we still finding dinosaur bones? And like, if those are, and then but yeah, they tell you a lot. Well, like making fun of you, whether or not they believe you or not, by the questions they ask you. Because then they'll ask you, so what do you think the oil is, or like, what do you think bones are? And then that's when you know that they really do have an interest. I have a friend that constantly he constantly tags me in like stupid like planet Earth videos rotating around. Like, what do you think about this? Or like ISS footage and stuff. Like, and he just says he's trying to be funny. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just trying to be funny. Yeah. And then when I start like doing facts or like arguing with him, he's like, "Oh no, I'm not trying to argue with you." I'm like, why are you even sending it to me then? Like, so. But
look, I've got a lot of people that have different conversations with me about the topics, and I love the people that are able to give me another perspective. But sometimes people say things like, "Oh man, it just can't be real." That's the only answer they got, and I'm like, just go and sense stuff for a while, like, and then people go, "Oh, but it's so monumental that you could never possibly sense it," and I'm saying like, no, if I look at the sun and I use Pythagoras' theorem, it's small, local, and it's not as big as what they say it is, and it's not as far away as they say it is. And I do the same thing with the moon. I can't really triangulate moonlight, but at the same time, like, it feels in the same vicinity as what the sun does, and of the same size. And when they're in the sky together, I get to observe them together and find out.
It's crazy to me that people can't look up and be like, I remember when I had that coming to realization, the Earth's bigger than the lights in the sky, much bigger. And then people like, it's funny now when you see like size comparison images, and they're like, Earth's the largest one out of all of them. So like, what am I?
Yeah, like, well, okay, I was looking at Venus last night with the naked eye, and I was looking at Saturn and Jupiter, right? There's no fucking way Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus are anywhere near the size of what I think the sun and the moon are. And in comparison to us, I think none of them are of that size from my observation. And people will be like, but it's so far away. I'll be like, okay, all the stars have a different distance. Judging on how you zoom your camera, you can sort of feel like they're not as close. You know what I mean?
I think they're as big as you see them. That's my opinion.
But the thing is when you go to focus them, something happens where they move.
They magnify.
Man, it plays an optical illusion with your mind, and it never comes out as what you're seeing is the true representation before you press the camera, before you press the photo. So I've noticed a lot of things with and that's why I want to get a telescope as well to do the same thing, because people have said they can see through the moon. with a high powered telescope. So I'm like, okay, I
Really?
want to have a fucking look at that. Yeah, I
Oh,
heard
check
someone
this
say that.
out. That's awesome. Before I forget, I'm real scatterbrained. Forgive me, my brain, like, I'm
I love
very.
your brain. Your brain's fucking like mine. It's eclectic and it's got heaps of cool shit in it. Keep
I
going.
I ran into
Never
this girl.
apologize.
So I did the moon poetry video where I collected a bunch of moon photos and I made the little poetry. Have you seen it?
Such a sweetheart. I haven't seen it, but you're a
You haven't
sweetheart.
you
Keep
haven't
going.
seen the moon poetry video?
I haven't. No,
It's
I'll look
great.
at it.
Yeah, it's great. I messed up at the end though. I messed up on my poetry, but
I love how honest you are. Keep going. No one
uh,
would have even noticed.
no, you can kind of tell. I used two words when I was trying to use a different word. But yeah, I had a bunch of my Facebook friends donate pictures for my poetry, and I wanted to use a different picture for a different word or a different couple sets of words. So the she was sharing with me all her pictures in my inbox, and she was saying that she uses a laser and points it at the moon and stars, and the stars jump around when she points the laser at them.
Same as your viewfinder. Yep.
So
They don't sit still in your viewfinder. So I'm not talking about like, because the sky is shifting, right? Over the night. Because I've started doing the time lapses that you were doing. I was playing with my Nikon and I was like, oh, fucking, you could do like a nightscape and time lapse of the stars, like the Star Trek. And I was like, cool, all right. So I've been playing with them every night when there's a nice sky. And where are we going? We're talking about something just then. I just did you.
I don't remember either.
Oh God, you're meant to catch it. If I don't catch it,
the star
anyway.
trails. You're talking about your
jumping. No, it's all right. So I've got my tripod out and I've got it in a pretty wide view of a star, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your mate was saying that when she puts the laser on the star, they don't sit still.
Mm-hmm.
So the sky is definitely moving because I've seen the star track through the time lapse that I've been doing. But what happens when I've got my viewfinder on a wide view? So say my head is the star and that's the viewfinder. This is the star. The star's doing time. It's never sitting in one spot. It's not going in one track like it does on my camera, but what's actually doing, it's jumping around, like dancing all over. When people say it twinkles, that's what it is. And if you've got eyes, you can see it twinkling.
I wonder if it's because you're moving.
What do you mean I'm moving?
Like, are you completely still while you're looking at it?
I've got a camera on a tripod. I'm not touching anything. I'm standing away from it.
I know that
I'm like,
the camera's not moving, but are you moving?
Fuck, man. The camera's moving. I hate when you do that to me. And that's the thing. This is the thing, guys. Yeah. Don't get too quick to judge what you see or feel and make a final conclusion on it. Right? This is what Preston and I are about. You're constantly evolving with your understanding and your understanding of what you feel and sense. Don't ever let just one sense catch and go, that's the way it is. Nah, man, there's so much to pay attention to.
Yeah, there's so many different angles to things. It's like that picture where people are looking at it. I see a 6, I see a 9. Yeah. And often when you're playing chess, I can watch somebody else play chess and see stuff they don't see. And then, like, why didn't you do this? And you're like, because you don't see it while you're playing it, but when somebody else is watching you play it, you can see more things. So
yeah, I think they're amazing, but they definitely dance. It's a cool thing, and I reckon a laser pointer, that'd be cool. I'm gonna try the moon with that.
Yeah, I wonder if you aggravate them if you point them at it or something. That's what I wonder.
They're an energy, that's for sure.
Yeah, what if you piss them off though?
Star comes to fuck you up.
Yeah, what if they start messing with you, like with your mind or something? They can like mess up your frequency, give you a bad day or night or something.
Well, hey, you have a bad day in your cycle, so I was gonna say that I'm gonna get you that pattern app, man. It's a fucking good app, and honestly, if there's a cycle that happens to you in October and it's there, I want to know about it because I reckon we've all got them.
Yeah, it might be connected to Leo's.
Hey, man, we can be destructive, right? There's something about masculine and having a lot of fire in them where there's a ruthless aggression and a bit of a white knuckle crazy where sometimes when you're younger and you don't have that experience to fucking learn and also too just the layers of the onion, you can just fucking go at it. And it can unravel you in a long... And I've seen a lot of guys being in security. I've seen a lot of guys that have been destructive. And you've probably seen it in the military as well, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of self-destruction, and I think a lot of mental health goes on ignored, and it's treated in like almost untreatable way. Um, how am I explaining it? I've dealt with mental health my whole life. I was forced to go to a therapist my whole life, and I just feel like you feel lost when you're working on your therapy as a person, and they don't make you feel very masculine while you're in your therapy. I think that's a big formula that's left out of the equation. I think a lot of mental health is focused on on too much on medicine and not enough on the spirit and the religious side of it. Like, yeah, the government wants to be you're in control, and if somebody's free with their spirit, it's hard to get them to be dependent on pharmaceuticals, I would say.
Definitely. Well, there's a misalignment, and there's the bigger self is like fighting the ego self, trying to wake you up, and it'll keep giving you lessons in life where you break down, right? You're always going to go down until you can go and then actually ascend where you need to go, and you only go there once you've reached the pits of hell. Well, for a lot of people anyway.
Yeah, and we all have different paths in getting there. I don't think everybody has to hit rock bottom to get there, and where some people just need to be redirected, where like I needed to hit rock bottom many times, where where the punishments and penalties of my behavior were so extreme, like where where I was questioning God and my own existence, so.
Most definitely. Look, I think that I've got a friend who I do some stuff with on Insta, and he's telling us the story of his rise to sort of minor fame, and then how that tapered off, and then he sort of launched again, and then had a massive crash in his life, and then he lost everything. And to hear a story of like how you can the world and then go on a bender and then end up somewhere else, and then when you catch up with reality, you're like, how the fuck did I just end up in Venice, right? This is what this guy was going through. And then he went from that to like being wiped out completely. And I'm like, some people had to have it all and have it taken away. Other people just had to start off in the middle and drop to the bottom. Some people just rose and never had that, but then die without ever getting the music inside of them out and really feeling like they lived their life. Right? There's a lot of people that die unhappy. There's a lot of like successful people that die unhappy.
So you're saying this guy was like time traveling? Or like
No. He was on like a fucking crazy bender on drugs, and then woke up in another country because he's got mates and he's got money and he can do that.
Oh.
So he was in Las Vegas and woke up in Venice, and what happened and why they flooded Vegas. And I don't mean woke up. I mean like in Limitless, when you're walking down the street and your mind catches up to the fucking whatever's going on with there, and you're in reality and you pay attention and you're like, oh fuck. That sort of bender. So that's what he was doing in his life, and that's where he went through his cycle of that, and now he just helps people. And I think there's a thing with helping and service once you have some demons.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's when you make a lot of mistakes, you have a lot of truth and healing to give to people. You know how to fix those bandages and wounds. You have all the tools to do it. Like, so.
You become the mechanic.
Yeah, like you've made the mistakes, you can help somebody from making them. And that's an ego trip in itself. I see a lot of people who are like they've made a lot of mistakes, but then they use it as an ego trip instead of a way to help somebody. That's my thing is like you only know that because you too like you're not better than somebody because you figured it out before them. You before. Like,
I love that. That's a nice angle on humility, right? Because a lot of people get to a point they're like, "Fuck, I'm good. I know a lot of shit." But the truth is no, motherfucker, you fucked up a lot, and that's why you know a lot of shit. So don't get all cocky about it. It's just you made a lot more mistakes than someone who was trying not to make mistakes, and you got there quicker because of it.
I have a belief also that if like we were talking about like don't stand on anything. I have this belief like if you stand on something and say something, divinities will try you. Like so if you say I'm never going to drink again, there's divinities that are floating around. They're like, what'd you say?
Oh, really? Full?
Oh, okay. You heard that, Jim? Let's get him. Like, and then from that moment, they're like,
okay, so should it be a pretty girl or is Brady having a breakdown, right? Which one's it going to be?
Yeah.
Pretty girl, breakdown.
Yeah, and those divinities are just waiting to like start to offer you alcohol. Or like, hey, you should go with her tonight because she likes to drink. Yeah, yeah.
It's true, right? There's definitely there's a gravitational pull to wrong things when you're not in a clear state and you haven't done the work yet. And it's almost like it's spirit sending you there and going, don't worry, you'll enjoy this bit for now, then you'll hate it, but you'll know why you did it later.
No, I often dwell in these thoughts. So is that me going, oh, that's just me being self-destructive, or am I fabricating that in my own mind, or you know what I mean? Like,
where do I start and finish?
Am I making excuses? Is this an excuse I'm making for my behavior? So how do you end the cycle? That was my thing. I was born in a chaotic family, a foster home, drug addicts, abusive, violent parents. So I've always thrived to not sound like where I came from, be who I came, like a street rat, right? I grew up in a trailer park, white trash. I've always aspired to look like a clean cut, preppy boy, and to sound educated and smart. But I went to a night school. I went to poor public schools. I grew up in a foster home, single parents generally my whole life. Didn't graduate. I had to graduate in night school, like I said. So yeah, I've always aspired to put on a Halloween costume, I guess. Like not reveal that I was this person, you know, or came from a poor background. Not that it matters, but yeah, I've always been scared of my trashiness.
And I like it.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Well, I just want to say publicly, I fucking love you, and you are one of the most authentic dudes I know, and for that, my heart will always be open and grateful. And you know what? You stand in truth like not many people I know, brother. So there's nothing to pretend, right? I grew up in fucking Granville. It's probably not as ghetto as your life, and I was lucky. I had a very fucking sheltered childhood in comparison to you. But I was like a bratty kid, and I had to learn my own fucking things, and not bratty because I had stuff. Like my parents were well off in a poor area kind of thing, if you could put it that way. And had 2 jobs and worked at night and did crazy stuff to get us to where we got to as kids.
Good parents.
And I went to I went to good schools and stuff, but then I got bullied, right? So my baggage and my journey was different, and unpacking it all, and when it unravels, and when your life hits rock bottom, like it did in my previous relationship, and losing my son and stuff, like you have to work out who you are at some point. And a lot of people have had too much success or too much cruisiness to have to do that to themselves. So that's why the work is, like, people look at personal development and psychology or getting a counselor or something like that, and everyone looks at like, oh, you're fucking broken. But what people don't realize is, like, good athletes have fine-tuning coaches for their mind just as much as they do with their body. And they have massage therapists, and they have people that work on all sorts of stuff. None of us are fucking an island where we're just so awesome we can do it all ourselves. We all need to be tinkered with and helped. And these conversations that you and I have help each other and other people. And that's what everything is now, is just how do we share our truth so that someone else can feel like they can share theirs and be vulnerable.
Right. Yeah. I told you I was really vulnerable when I started doing these videos. I still at times don't feel really comfortable in front of the camera. I'm still getting used to these podcasts and conversations. Yeah. I feel like the more I'll do it, the more natural I'll get, the more me I'll be, right? So like, it gets easier. It gets easier. And I'd like to see more people do this, because you don't see a lot of it. And it seems like all the people that do it are very like quacky. There's no normal, down to earth, average, everyday people. Like, I'm not better than anybody. I'm not claiming to be better than anybody. I think we're all capable of the same thing. So like, and yeah, there's a lot of people that's speaking in the third person with these huge ego trips. like craziness. So labeled
it is like, look, I think there's an element of professionalism to what you can do, and you can make your thing like, I give a fuck about content, right, in the way that we do it. So I think both of us do. And like the other week we had an audio issue where it was a little bit clicky on one of the ends. So we fixed that offline, right?
I think I fixed it. Do you hear anything?
No, man, it's smooth as today. Okay. So
I like this program, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. So shout out to Restream.io. That's the program that I use for my platform and with us at Preston. And honestly, like, I think that production value and stuff's important, but there's also like, I can make a set behind me and get a fucking couple of lights, but it's more about what I say. And if I show up as the real guy, like, and the thing is that people front on that, and then they also front on the background, and then they also front on like the fucking logo and the intro and everything else. So it's like, if you can make the bit that's you real, you can put whatever you like. You can decide what outfit you're wearing for the day. Preston can wear a suit next week. It doesn't fucking matter. You can still be you.
I love my Naruto t-shirts.
You can be the street rat in a fucking suit, and it doesn't fucking matter, right? And you could speak like that, and that would still be so authentic because it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, my Naruto t-shirts, I always get them from Walmart. They're like $8. Yep. I get complimented on my Naruto t-shirt every time I wear it. Every time I wear my Naruto t-shirt, I get a compliment on it. It's the number one. Love it. I don't know why, but so.
Hey, I might get Tom on. Tom, you want to jump on?
Yeah.
I'll see if Tom wants to come on. Are any of your mates coming on today?
No. Fenry said he couldn't make it on today. I just haven't focused on it since I'll be going out of town. I've been working, so.
Yeah, sweet. All right, I'll send Tom a link, and if Tom wants to come on, he can come on.
Yeah, come on. I think we're friends too.
Yeah. So he started doing the Whatsy with us. So I do. Yeah, he's coming on. So he started doing a live with me every Tuesday, and then I do Wednesday with you. So it's good. So I've got 2 regulars in the States, and I love the fact that I've got the 2 free states. So I've got Texas and lovely guys in Florida, and you're both different. Yeah.
The avatar, right? You had like, I need your monologue for our avatar.
I knew you were going to say that to me. I was hoping you'd say it offline so you did get me in trouble. But yes, I agree. I have to get that to you.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it this morning when I opened up our stuff. I was like, fuck, I've got to get that to you. So we're making like a little, tell the audience what you're doing. Preston?
Oh, yeah. We're, so I'm just trying to see what's up with the stream. Oh, it paused for some.
Because I'm out of it for a second, just adding the link for
no, I have, okay.
Good. We're sweet now. We're back on.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I just sent it to Tom just then. Yep.
Yeah, the avatar thing was my buddy Daniel. He makes these little avatar intros, outros, and he's got a YouTube channel, Daniel the Avatar. And he just had us introducing ourselves with a little countdown to it with our own little avatars. I thought it looked pretty cool. And maybe add a couple, like, we had a couple ideas, maybe like flat earth jokes or something like that.
Yeah. I saw a couple of really good videos the other day where my mate had them up, and it was a camera spinning at 360 degrees at like 100 feet, and then like 300 feet, and then like 8,000 feet, and then like 20,000 feet, I think, and then it was like 300,000 feet, and every time the camera spun, it was just like flat, 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 and I'm like, how could anyone say that they get it and think something otherwise?
You know what's crazy though? When it gets to the very, very, very top of its ascension, it convexes. Have you ever noticed this?
Yeah. I've seen stuff, but I thought it was the fisheye because I've never been up there.
No, but on the wide angle lenses, even on the wide angle lens, when it gets up, it starts to do this like it's some kind of islands thing, like the sky. Maybe I don't know.
Well, that's weird. The thing, right? Even the shape of our eyes is weird.
Why is it doing
people
that?
Think that people think we're looking out at stuff, but we're not actually looking out at stuff.
We're projecting
Stuff's entering our eye.
That's what I often think. We're either projecting it or reflecting. I remember there's a conversation I had at elementary school science, middle school science, a science fair, something at some kind of museum, of them explaining the way our eyes work and how we receive light, reflect light, and project light. And a part of my mind, I remember asking the teacher, so I was like, so are we projecting reality? I remember that going through my mind, like, wait,
Wow.
what?
Yeah, nice.
Like, and she just wasn't able to answer me.
Of course she wasn't.
So you just explained to me that I'm projecting everything I'm seeing. And she,
Yeah.
let's come on, let's keep going. I had that happen a couple
Let's go
times.
look at the ball. Hey,
Yeah.
everyone go and stare at the ball and tell me where Australia is.
And I had that happen with the helicopter thing. We had just learned the helicopter, and I was like, why aren't we spinning away from the helicopter right now at field day, where they brought a helicopter 11 to Live News to our school or whatever, and they let some kids get on it. And I was like, why isn't it floating away from us? And the teacher was like, shut up, kid. Like, hush.
You're making my job hard.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys sound ruffled, man. Maybe I should try on Chrome.
All right.
Oh wait, now I hear you.
You sound smooth to me.
Yeah, we got you good.
Now it's clear. What's up, guys?
We're good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing great, bro. Doing great. Thanks for inviting me on here.
Anytime. I'm just trying to get us set up in a way that's congenial. There we go.
Oh, that's good.
There we go.
ESPN First Take.
There we go.
Okay, so what are you reporting on, Tom? What are you the expert
on? What am I the expert on, man? I don't know. I got a few things. I'm a visionary, a master manifester.
You are a master manifester, my friend. So we were talking earlier just about having breakdowns and having to go to the bottom to get to where you need to get to. And what's your feeling with the truth and learning and waking up and being stuck? Did you find in yourself that it's something that you had to go to the bottom to start to look up?
For spirituality?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense. Now that I think about it, I can trace it back to when I was dumped by my girlfriend. I was overweight. I was, humiliated. I was whatever. I was left for the wolves. All of a sudden I was this slob of a guy that had to go out now and go pick up some strange. I was rusty. I was not making much money. So yeah, things weren't working well for me, and caused me to look into some things and take things to the next level. So, at the time, it was like the most devastating thing to happen to me. Now I look back and I laugh at it. I'm like,
oh, that's fucking nothing.
It's nothing, right? But at the time, to me, it was a rock bottom moment at the 100%. Time. So that popped in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you said that at that time you started to look at books, and then there was some spiritual or more self-help kind of books that sort of spurred you in a direction to open that up.
Yeah, it started with books, more on like the personal development side of it.
Yep.
And then, I started realizing about the stuff that they call woo-woo, right? The woo-woo stuff, what a horrible word. But the metaphysical, the spiritual, believing in the unseen. Mm-hmm. And when I started to learn about that shit, mm-hmm. That's when I was like, I fucking love this shit. Yeah. And me personally, I look at everything energetically. Yeah. And if you want to get scientific, there's there's a scientific reason usually for why this stuff works, but I always look at the energetics of it. I don't need any studies. I don't need graphs. I don't need any bullshit. I fucking know it works. I know in my soul that it works.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It resonates.
Preston, when you were growing up, because you had a hard growing up, did you find that you had access to anyone in your life that you stumbled across that had that self-help or personal development thing in their head that you were like, fuck, I want that? Was there a coach or anyone that sort of made you feel different?
Well, so I always clinged on to male figures because I didn't have my dad around, and I was raised by a single mom. So yeah, all my baseball coaches were always good male figures for me. But self-help. Now, yeah, I always saw kids that had it together because of their. I feel like because they had a stable home and they had two people in their ear and a father figure constantly around doing the right thing. Yeah, I feel my growing up has been a constant, even as even as an adult, right? So I've hit a lot of rough battles, but I feel like my immaturity has allowed me to remain open-minded and learning enough. Like my immaturity allowed me to be education or like intelligently open-minded. Like I don't know, am I making sense? Like intellectually open, like my immaturity allowed my intellectual side to stay open.
The three of us all have the same thing. We're all smartasses. We're all fucking funny. We're all kids at heart, and there's like something inside of us that just wants to have fun with life.
Yeah.
And observe it and understand it, right? We have the curiosity. We're fucking like, this is a cool thing, right? Everyone else is just like, oh, Netflix, fucking fuck bitches, yeah. We're like, no, man, there's like stars and shit and fucking metaphysical stuff and these crystal things and all this stuff. And like, none of it makes sense, but I want to know what it is.
Yeah, I just started to get into the manifesting reality, like belief, like creating everything around you. Like if you want something, just want it. Like you literally just gotta want it, and it'll get to you. Like so.
Getting out your own way, and then watching the language you use. Yeah.
Yeah, be very careful. It's like standing on that box. I said, like, say what you will and will not do. Yeah.
Say that again for Tom. Tom will love that one. So Preston's got this joke about what the angels do, and you go, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this." Go.
Yeah, they're just waiting for you to, like we say, "Oh, I'm never gonna drink again," and they're just sitting over there looking at you like, "Oh, you're not, huh? Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what you say about that tomorrow night." Like,
it's funny you mentioned that, man, because I was thinking about creating like a cartoon or a film strip series of a guy and a bunch of people that go around, and it's them and their guardian angels, and the guardian angels are like, you stupid motherfucker, like you dumb, you know what I mean, like exactly what you just said, like, yeah.
I like that. It'd be funny because like, you'd have salty angels and then like nice angels, and then it'd be like, oh, he's fucking stupid. He's doing it again. Look at him. I tried to help him 3 times.
He's making my life impossible.
Do you know what we all three of us have in common though, for real?
It's not our haircut.
We're not afraid of the fucking truth.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not afraid of it.
And to say it on fucking camera, right? Like Tom sits there at night doing lives, and he's got his Invisalign on, he's smoking weed, he's got his yellow glasses on, and he's doing Q&As, and he is fucking crushing. And then there's people like, I couldn't do that. I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I'm like, okay.
Well, what I mean, I thank you for that, but what I meant was, we're not afraid of finding out the truth.
No.
So like I'm not afraid to find out that Lady Gaga eats babies. I'm not afraid to find that out. I'm not afraid to find out that somebody did me wrong or somebody cheated on me. I'm not afraid to find out that the world's been lying to us for years about the fucking shit. We're not afraid of that. People are afraid. They don't want to fucking know. They don't want to fucking know.
That was like that woman in my Uber car that I was telling you about how she started making up the computer malfunction. She immediately told me that there's no way that there's that many pilots that are refusing the vaccine. And I was like, what if they are? Like you've never even considered that the other story could be true at all. You're just immediately rejecting that because you're scared that that's true. There's people who have a different paradigm than you, and you're scared that they think differently than you.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's challenging your beliefs, your core beliefs, and for that, everyone's ego has to defend.
That's crazy that people are just scared that people think differently than each other, let alone be scared of some medical reason. They're scared that they even just think differently than them.
We go to war over thinking different.
I think it's crazy.
People have invaded countries over women, right? You don't understand how fucked this world
is. Well, that
is.
I understand. Like, get your hands off my...
Yeah, we know how powerful women are.
Yeah.
We all agree with that as well, yeah.
There's some comedian that tells that joke, right? Like, we went to war over blah blah blah. I can't remember who it was. Was it Carlin or something like that?
It was over what was the old school chick that Kennedy used to like? Was it over her?
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, wasn't it over Marilyn Monroe then as well?
She was deep state. They're all deep state, man.
Yeah.
Was it? Well, I mean,
Presley.
you got the movie Troy, right? You got that was the whole war was started over a woman.
Yeah, that was like Alexandria or whatever. Yeah. Interesting. So we've got some stuff to chuck up on the screen for everyone. We've been in the Tom, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group I'm in with Preston. We've got a lot of stuff happening in the States at the moment with adverse reactions to kids.
All right, we got to be very careful in what gets.
Oh, do we? Should I not?
Let's just be careful on what, because I am broadcasting straight to my YouTube channel. So.
Okay, yeah, no. All right, that's
well, can we mask it? Yeah, we can mask it. Yeah. Disclaimer: none of us are doctors. We do not agree or disagree with any information that you may see here.
No, I don't want to risk it, bro. You're in bed too often.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
Hold on. All right. Let's go through what I've got then. All right, let's go back to Flat Earth.
Well, can we talk about it a little bit? Let's talk about it. So there's a bunch of we can talk around it with being quick about it and sly about it. So I've noticed a bunch of kids have been dying and having adverse reactions to quacks. We'll call them quacks, right?
Yep.
And
quacks. Juice or quacks, yeah.
Yeah. So, and these are healthy kids, and the same thing that happened with the Spanish flu back in 1918. The unhealthy old people weren't dying. It was the people in the best primes of their lives that were dying. It wasn't the sick and old. It was the people that got these quacks that died. Yeah. Not the people in the best years of their lives were dying.
I'll give some demographic stuff so it's really generic. Year 12 student unexpectedly in her sleep. Something in Portuguese I can't read. That a year 12 student unexpectedly in her sleep. Again, that's confirming the previous one, I believe. And that was at a King John school.
Are you talking about the myocarditis? Is that what we're talking about?
No, we're talking about any juicy reaction. We don't know what the outcome is. No autopsy been done.
Did you see the Colin Powell thing, right?
What was with that?
Colin Powell died.
Yeah, I heard that. And then he said something about, I was juiced, but wasn't it going to save me?
He was double vaccinated and died of COVID.
Did he die or was he treasonous and this was their way of giving him a pill to get out?
Or has he left the realm and somewhere else now?
He was deep state. He's a deep state warmonger. There's no way.
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they put a lot of these guys. They put them to sleep like dogs.
But both of us have talked about before how all the sex scandals and stuff are all just redirections, right? All the three of us agree with that.
Yeah, sex scandals are because you didn't do what you were told to, and now we're going to release information on you, and we're going to distract you for something else that's going on in the world. That's what that is.
Yeah. Monica Lewinsky thing that was all bullshit. I mean, she probably blew him, but maybe not.
They don't care. It's like a soap opera to them, right?
It is.
Like,
it's like
do you think they're cousins? Have you seen the video, like the old picture of Bill and Hillary next to each other, like when they're real young? They look like twins.
Yeah.
They're like sickly alike. Like you're like, whoa. Like,
I'll give you a perspective on something, right? You know when you work in a company and say it's like a food shop, right? You have like front of house and back of house, or if you worked anywhere where there's like your customers and you're somewhere else. When you're out the back or the doors are closed, how do you fucking talk? How do you act? Right? When you're around the customers, how do you pretend? You guys have got to understand, politics is the same fucking game. We're not there when they're acting like they're natural. We're there when they're talking to their customers. So when they go behind the scenes, they're like, these fucking idiots. They tell the truth. Yeah.
It's like my ghetto friends in Atlanta and my hood friends. They would be real like thuggish at school, and then like when their mama showed up and they got in trouble, they're like, "Oh yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am." Yeah, you're like, "Who is this?" Like, you didn't talk like that a second ago. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Yeah. So what else were you going to show us? You had some other images you were looking at.
I'll go through the rest of these. So we've got daughter-in-law died for 2 hours. Was meant to be listening to attempts to resuscitate her. Basically, she died in my son's arms before they arrived. Pulmonary embolism, and it was AZ, famous AZ. And then you've just got a register in England from 15 to 19-year-olds of deaths in to certain years. And in 2020, 165 of them died. And in 2021, 162 of them died. And that's in the first week 1 to 16 of the year. But in week 17 to 39, in 2020, it was 257. But in 2021, that number went up to 364. So in one part of the year where the flu was in that country and other people were getting some experiment, 107 extra people died, which is 42% extra in that age bracket.
Yeah,
kids.
There you go. Right? We know the reason.
100%. So we can bring this stuff up. So I'll bring this bad boy up. This is the first one we're going to show you today. This is one of Preston's shares, I think, or one of his buddies. Let's talk about this for a sec. Preston, over to you.
All right. I have seen this, but it wasn't on my. So
okay, sweet.
This is either one of the hemispheres, I would think.
Yeah, it's basically the star track of where the hemisphere would be above your side or wherever you are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where this is one version of. Hold on, I'll go to. Let me go. Is this your one?
Yeah, that's mine.
Is that your one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, talk about that. Explain that.
So yeah, you have a northern constellation and a southern constellation, and you can only see above the tropics. You can only see one or the other. You can't see both. And then you have ones that are shared, kind of like in between the tropics and at the tropics, but you can't see all of them on both sides. And they rotate in opposite directions. Like there's only a part of the ones in the northern hemisphere that don't seem to be a part of the same circle.
That's what I'm trying to suss out at the moment. So that's what I'm trying to observe at the moment, like in the sky, what comes into my side. Because I do get Orion,
mm-hmm.
And Orion comes later. So Orion comes later in the morning. And when I mean morning, I mean after midnight towards the next day morning. And then I'll have because I have Venus go over with the sun. And then as the moon starts to come up, if the moon's in that part of the rotation, I'll have Saturn enter my space, and then I'll have Pluto. And then, so they're the planets that are coming through that space. And then I'll have, depending on where I'm at the moment, I've got like Pisces. I've got Gemini on the right on the horizon. And so I'm sort of just trying to track where everything is every day from the sky.
See, now, like, I haven't done a lot of star charting. I just, I have friends that were studying the Book of Enoch and really into astronomy and astrology, and they're good with the southern star trails. And I just know that the southern and northern hemisphere are completely different constellations, and they rotate in opposite directions. So
there is that, but then how do you have? If that's the case, they have to all of the constellations have to end up in my sphere, because if the sun's in, say, Gemini, and Gemini's only on your side, how does that work? See, this is the thing, right? Because this is what I love about what we do, because we're constantly evolving with this, right? No one knows the fucking answers, guys. We're not better than anyone. We're not saying we've figured it out. We're saying everything's about getting better and closer to something that makes sense.
Well, there's a different set every season. They rotate. You'll get a different set of constellations.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've noticed that I get a different constellations every season. There's a set that rotates, like a different circuit of stars that rotate. And
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to track that season to season, because I've only just started with the noticing what's where. Okay.
Yeah, there's a different season of stars. There's fixed stars, there's wandering stars, and then there's the seasonal stars. There's ones that are on different circuits, like a seasonal, yearly, and quarterly. I think.
I've got a buddy who's on my page.
I don't know the exact. I don't know the stars quite yet. Like it's not.
I've got a guy called. a guy called Asker who's really, really good at this stuff, and he studies a lot of the stuff on the Stellarium page. So like there's a virtual reality website where you can go in and actually look at the sky as it appears right above you right now. And he's like so good at judging that and then explaining what's happening with the astrology and what's happening in our physical plane. So I'm going to see if I can get him onto one, because it'd be great to break that down with him live and show everybody, because he's amazing. Like I said something was in retrograde. He's like, nah. He goes, that's fucking the fake astrology they fucking sell you. Here's where everything is. Go to Stellarium. Here's where you'll find that.
But like, my guess with the Gemini, so say the Gemini was in the northern hemisphere at the time. The sun is small, close, and local to everybody, right? But the stars are of the Earth. Like, so they're your compass. And so depending on where you are is depending on where the Gemini is. So like the sun is going to pass through all of them in one day, regardless.
Well, okay, then what we have to do is start correlating where particular constellations are for us on the day. So when it's night for you, you have to see where that is, and then I have to try and figure out. And if we look at it just an east to west track or like the compass, try and postulate how and what we're referencing from different points. Because I think if we can both see something in the same day, that's giving us an indication that we're getting it in both sides.
You know, I often think like jet lag is because you're switching like different magnetic fields and star fields. You're switching to different
Taurus fields. Yeah, Taurus
you're
fields.
Switching. Yeah, you're switching different fields, so you're getting jet lag from it. That's I often think like that. Yeah.
Well, what's to say that like the luminaries are not controlled by some sort of electricity and magnetism? That's what's keeping them in their tracks, right? Maybe that's part of the script.
Right.
You don't know. They've definitely got like. The moon has a pull to it, right? It has like, well, you were talking earlier about gravitation, right?
Well,
this is the thing. Yeah.
I paid attention to the moon a couple times, and every time I fast forward and speed up any moon videos I can find, it seems like the moon sucks in clouds that go by it. Like as the clouds going by it, they like disappear as the moon. And you could say, well, it's because the moonlight's shining through the thin cloud. And I'm like, it almost looks like it sucks it up like a vacuum, and then it disappears after it keeps moving away. Like what? It's
very interesting. Yeah. So I put this one up. It's off the AE map for you to have a look at, Preston. I was just going to say, explain to people a little bit about travel times from different places, and just debunk globe for us for a second from a distance to places, and why we never fly over the North Pole.
I don't think we fly over the North Pole because it's cold as fuck, and it's a long distance to fly over the North Pole, for one, and two, because you can't. There's no.
You're in the South Pole.
Yeah, you can't fly over the southern wall. You can't fly over the north. Yeah. So I don't. This meme right here is basically attacking this map.
No, I know what it is. I know it's attacking AE, but I was just, because you've got measurements on there, I wanted to break it down, because you're so far into this topic that you've already broken the thing that most people in the topic believe. People that are just coming to it, they can't even comprehend that.
So, like, say you have Australia here and the tip of South America. Yep. The distortment of all these southern boxes they're like twice the size of the northern hemisphere. These boxes are the same size. Now, AE means azimuthal equidistant, which means distorted from the center. Then if you bend your map around a circle, the ones on the far ends, like where like the tips, the outer ends, are going to be distorted furthest from each other. So like say I live in North America, right? Yeah. Australia is north of me here. Australia is not north of me. Mm-hmm. Like, if I want to go to Australia right now, I will never travel north. No. That's a big hole in the flat Earth map.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But why does it take so long to travel to the places that we travel to? Why is it like 21 hours to go somewhere? Because it doesn't seem like it's that far.
Right. So, I like, my thing is I stick to the map that we use, the square map, and it's the map we use for travel. It's the most logical, reasonable map. There's a lot of holes in this map because it's a sun chart. It's not a model. It's a sun chart. And it works as is. It's what it's supposed to be used for. Mm-hmm. So that's why I know what's wrong with it.
what's all the maps that get plugged into the GPSs of the planes?
What? Say that again.
Do you know what that is?
Your
the map that?
Your ground positioning system, which is measured in square miles, right? All your land grid systems are done in square miles. Your Earth is square. Your heavens are round. So that's my opinion. Like, so, but yeah, everything's measured square. Lakes, L lines. Yeah, square compass. So what is it? The Freemason compass and circle. Everything's measured in squares and L's. So
yeah, that's right.
You know all the pyramids in the world are all lined up north, east, south, west.
Yes, and they all under constellations, and they all have particular chambers where certain constellations appear when a light will come through on a full moon or whatever it is.
So
the fucking shit's crazy.
Yeah, so whenever it changes seasons, the angle at which the light crosses over the steeple will it'll signify that you're in a different season then, because there's only three. Like I told you, there's three tracks, so you're either in summer, winter, and how it crosses over that
in the equinox. Yep.
So
yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Who the fuck built those things, right? We can't even just decide who built them, but these people had a relationship with the astrology of the planet more than we could ever fathom. And this is the thing where people water this down and say astrology isn't really that important.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Andrew Schultz, the comedian?
No.
He said there's all these conspiracies on the pyramids, right, in Africa. Like, who built them? Did aliens build them? Did the giants build them? Did the Africans build slaves build them? There's pyramids in Mexico. Nobody questioned who built those pyramids. Mexicans built those pyramids. Nobody questions the Mexicans built those pyramids.
Yep.
But the ones in Africa, I don't know.
Yeah. That's right. It's weird. Yeah. And like we found out the other day that Australia's got some, and I'm spinning the fuck out. I'm like, most people don't know we have tunnels in our country, and then you find out you got pyramids as well, and then hieroglyphics, and I'm like, what the fuck,
bro? I heard that Sydney is like the deep state capital of the world, and they've got like a 70-story fucking building underneath the fucking ground.
Yeah,
I think
Australia's messy, man.
I think all lands have huge underground tunnels, and I think earthquakes are underground tunnels either collapsing or being blown up. I think that's what they are.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, we all agree on that one. That's pretty crazy.
Well, look. Hey, I'll say something about the one that they had in Victoria. Everyone in Victoria said the earthquake that they had, the buildings. What did they say? They said the buildings shook, but the ground didn't shake, or something like that. They described it as like it didn't feel like a normal earthquake. They said it didn't feel like what they normally feel, and that's where I started to go into like, are they fucking with us again with direct energy weapons? What's the actual thing they're trying to do? Because I know that they've got earthquake technology in Russia. They've got like how to make the weather. So there's no chance that they can't do anything they like. And the timing of it was too close to what was going on with everything else in that part of the state.
There's no coincidences.
No.
Right now, with what's going on, there's zero coincidences with anything. Don't ever be fooled. It's all tied in to what's going on right now. Everything.
And where you're looking is where they want you to look.
Yeah. The first time I started getting really aware of chemtrails, the best thing to do with chemtrails is to go do time lapses of them. Right when they spray one, do a time lapse of it. And when you can tell people they turn into little gray clouds and they don't believe you, you can show them. You can be like, all right, motherfucker, like, bam, little bitty line, boom, gray cloud.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So the time lapse shows it.
Chemtrails is hands down the easiest one to fucking prove. It's so easy. It's like so embarrassing. If anybody doesn't believe in it, this sounds rude, but they're fucked in the head, dude.
Bro, you know how many hours I was in the oil field, out in the middle of a field, staring at huge plains in West Texas, like plains, like fields of plains of sky, and loaded with chemtrails, and telling like groups of guys like those aren't real clouds, those are fake clouds. Watch, they'll spray them, and arguing for months. And it took a long time for them to even come halfway on it with me. I'm like, but you're looking right at them do it. Like, and I explained it to you for months.
It looks like that. It's like fucking when they do your sky, it's not even like a little bit. They're like fucking everything.
It's like a tic-tac-toe pattern, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys see? Like a zigzag?
Yeah.
What fucking plane flies like that?
But when you keep pointing it out, it sticks in their mind. The seeds do stick, whether or not like they want to admit it right then or there. Eventually, they stick.
So. Yeah, it's so easy to see. It's such a simple one. It's like either, and I've got a couple of videos. I'm gonna put them together. I'm like, okay, this is a real plane with exhaust, because they're like, oh, it's contrails, man. It's contrails. Like, you stupid fuck.
Yeah.
Like, contrails disappear. Yes. Like this plane, And here's
when you make your video, make the contrail video first, and then make the chemtrail. Do like the 10-second. This is a contrail. This is a chemtrail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly gonna do. Yeah. So here's a question for you about flat Earth pilots. When they fly, are they constantly nosing down so they don't fly off into outer space?
I don't think so.
I have a feeling that they don't.
No.
I know people that build big buildings and engineer roads and stuff, and they never allow for curvature in anything they do.
Zero. The whole thing doesn't even exist.
I also use the same argument against the AE map, though. If pilots knew they're constantly dipping the nose over a sphere, they would constantly know that they were turning around a pole, turning east or west, because the pilots fly the plane. The compass does not. You would
feel it.
The compass, the pilot would know that he has to redirect his compass to the North Pole, like redirecting its azimuth. His reverse azimuth would constantly be changing if he was going around the North Pole.
Describe azimuth.
I'm not real great with this stuff. I learned map reading classes in military 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, it's a reverse azimuth is to basically get back where you came from, just in case you get lost. So like, and it's to keep a direct line of path. So if you want to go forward, doing your reverse azimuth, you can tell if you're going in the correct track by telling where you came from. So like, that's basically it. So you would know if you're constantly turning around the North Pole, east or west. Yeah, just as you would know you're dipping the plane. Like if a pilot was going from the North Pole to the South Pole, like he should know, he should feel that like.
Yeah.
Within an 8-hour span, you would think that you would feel some kind of dip or turn, right?
No. If you're maintaining altitude, you're gonna have to dip down like every 30 seconds. Think about it. So like, if the Earth's curved and you're maintaining altitude, you're flying into outer space if you don't nose down.
That's what I said. Yeah, and even with when we were talking yesterday, Tom was saying the space rockets go like that. Over your head in Miami, in Florida, and then they go that way, and then that's the exit over there at the ozone layer.
They disappear when no one's looking in the water. Absolutely.
Have you ever
100?
What's the highest you've ever been in a plane? Did I tell you about my trip to Atlanta one time? Like we went from the minute we took off all the way from like Dallas to Atlanta. I can't remember if it was Atlanta to Dallas. One of the two. We went up the whole way. And then as we got to the airport, then we started to come down. But as we got, like, I swore on my life at the time, this was way before I woke up, I was like, are we at the edge of space? I was looking around, and I was like, I swear to God, we're at the edge of space right now. Like,
how high did you get?
It was, I could see nothing above me was blackness. Like I swear to God, the blackness was right here. And I was like, how are we not in the edge of space right now? And then I looked in the deep, like out the window of the window, and way in the distance, it looked like this golden castle in the clouds, like floating in the clouds. And I was like, it was the strangest. I still remember that it was like a Disney castle floating in the middle of the sky, as far as my eyes could see. But it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was a golden Disney castle, like as far as my eyes could see. And and I swore I was in the edge of space at that moment. That moment was the most beautiful moment I ever had in my life. Was that? It
Wow.
was like the whole picture though. Like this way is like pink golden clouds. This way is like this rainbow of colors that is meeting the horizon and nothing but darkness. Given
Yeah.
I'm on and terrified of heights in a plane, and so like there's a bit of like intensity going on there. But it was
Yeah.
I thought it was like my imagination almost. So
Yep.
yeah.
When I'm in a plane, like I have a very good spatial awareness, so I can feel when things are moving. Like in my mind, I can feel it, and I can tell when the plane's moving in any direction. I can feel when it's elevating, going down, turning, anything. Like I feel subtle changes.
You can feel it in your ears.
Yeah. And so Mick has a question that's on the screen. How can you have a straight and level flight without adjusting pitch and altitude? Well, you obviously take off and then you go from that and then you're leveling out. But what we're saying in the leveling out point, the plane isn't going like that. And we're never getting to a point where we're turning over something.
Yeah, I mean, what's the curve, right? If the Earth's as big with the diameter they tell us, which is all bullshit. Everything they tell us is fucking bullshit. Everything. They have no proof of anything. Show me the proof that the sun's 93 million miles away. Show me the work. Show me let me see your notes.
I can show you
Let me see
proof
the
that
notes
it's
on
not.
that. Yeah, but how come they're not allowed to prove their shit? Why do we have to prove everything with links?
Constantly.
Where's the fucking proof? Show me your scratch paper of how you came up with how far the sun is. I want to see the work.
Yeah, the 93
I don't buy
million
it.
miles.
I think the sun's fucking right there. The sun is. You can do this at home. Anybody that's watching this, go outside and look at the sun. It is right there. It's right there. It's right there.
Small, close, and local.
Local, super local, like intimately local.
It is, and so that's Preston's whole idea, right? Preston has a thing where we have a personal moon, and I believe
all the light that you see,
all the light, personal, and I believe he's right to an extent because I know that if I'm standing and looking at the sun, and people go, oh, because it's so far away. There's something about it where it's at you. You can run like 3K down the road from where you stood before, and it's still at you. But it's not like, and
you're asking people to take themselves out of their perspective, their first-person view, and imagine you're like, close your eyes, imagine yourself in the middle of the Salt Lake City, Utah, in the middle of the desert, the empty lake, and the sun is right above you. And then you have your eyes closed, and then you say, okay, I'm going to leave this ghost of a shell of a body here, and then I'm going to also multiply myself all over this state. Each of those people are witnessing that sun right above them, and if they were to travel in any direction, that sun intimately follows you. Like your shadow stays constant and non-wavering on top of you. So
all right, so we're going to have a look at something quickly. I've got a screen up for us, and we're going to look at what 443 kilometers looks like as far as curve. So that's 15 Ks worth of curve, and there's a.
Where did y'all get this? Where's this curvature calculator? Where is this from?
It's just a Google one, earthcurvature.com.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. So I chucked that in, right? So 15K. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. I'm basing this on the fact that their calculator is accurate for what they're saying.
Could be accurate. Even roughly. Who cares?
Well, they're saying, you can tell me, Preston, for 10, you don't know kilometers. So they're basically saying for every 10K, there's 7.8 meters of curve.
Well, change it to miles up top.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
So 5 miles is 16 feet of curve.
That's a lot.
That's what they're saying. I'll go. Is there a one that you would use that would be more accurate?
Well, no. I mean, that seems accurate.
Okay, cool. We'll use that one. All right. So we're going to go. The longest landscape photography ever is 443 kilometers away, and that's Pitgas Bar. And that photo is this photo here. So I'll bring this one up first. I'll explain to you guys where it is. So the photo is taken from this point here, and it's across the sea, and it's taking a photo of these mountains in Spain. And this is the photo. I think this is it. So this is the longest landscape photography photo in record. Where is it? Sorry, guys, just waiting for the actual thing to come up.
Yeah, I think I've heard about this.
Yes, this is crazy. This is like, when I saw this, I was like, this is a fucking cool photo. Where? So this is the better one. That's the photo there. So these mountains you're seeing from 443 kilometers away. Right? That's where that photo is. If that's photos taken from 443 kilometers away, there should be 15 kilometers of curve. You would have to see 15 kilometers of curve in the water as well. There's ones also too. What's that other one? Is it Lake Michigan? What's some of the other ones, boys, that you guys know of?
Hey, can I share something in here? How do I do
I've
that?
heard of that Lake Michigan one, yeah.
If you send me a link on Facey Preston in Messenger, I can link it up.
I can just send you a picture on Facebook then, I guess.
Yeah. So, guys, it's impossible that what they're saying. What they say is like not physically.
None of it's possible. None of it's ever been possible.
Yeah, this is the photo I wanted. This is the photo I wanted. So Pit Gazbar is that point there, and it's 443 kilometers away, and they've measured the distance to every single mountain in that image, and that is a Guinness Book of Records photo. So it's not me that's made it up and said it's the longest photo. That's legit.
So how high is that mountain though? Is that mountain higher than 15 kilometers?
No, they're both at about. I think they're both at about 1,000 elevation, 1,000 kilometer elevation. Here it is. Yeah.
So there you go. You wouldn't even be able to see it.
No. 15 Ks is fucking shitloads.
Yeah, I know. I was just, you know, trying to paint the picture.
I think it's it's good. I think it's like 30 miles. So what's the other one? I think it's Lake Michigan. And we have one more question for you, Preston. I'll check it up on the screen. No, wasn't a question. Yeah, the moon was almost in full moon last night. So it was like a 98% full moon, and it was in Aries.
So, all right. I have a moon.
Okay.
I have a moon
did you
right
say
now.
you had a question for me?
Moon.
No, I thought it was a question. It wasn't a question.
Was it an insult?
No one insulted. Which one,
Nate,
Preston, do you want me to check up?
Nate, can you see the moon? Do you guys have a daytime moon right now?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Not right this second. Like not now. It'll rise this afternoon about 4 o'clock. So 4 p.m., 5 p.m.
So I've been.
That's about the time it'll disappear out of our sight, right, Preston?
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
That's cool. So we're saying like I've got a daytime moon at the moment, Preston.
Yeah.
And I was saying
we have a nighttime moon.
Right.
But you're saying you can't see it, Nate, right?
Give me 1 second. I'll go look.
Our moon is about to be rising. So it should be setting for you.
Yeah, I noticed that I see the daytime moon here usually like late afternoon. Is that right, Preston? Is that when it usually is, or could it be any time?
Well, the moon is on a circuit, right? So individual circuit for every observer, and it goes from right crescent to left crescent. It starts out west from you. Like the first time we each see it, it'll be out west to you. Like at 7, like if the clock in the sky was like, it'll be out 7 p.m. to your west. Like, and then the next day you'll see it'll be 6 p.m. to your west. The next day you'll see it about 5, and then it's not. And then the first 3 or 4 times you see it, it magically just pops up out west as the sun. It'll be facing the sun as the sun's setting, and then it'll stay in the sky the next time you see it on the like 4th or 5th day, and the sun will pass it. But yeah, I've got a bunch of videos explaining. What was your exact question about if?
I don't know. I was just trying to see, if Nate's in Australia, there's the moon right there. I'm looking right at it, right out my window.
Right.
So like if Nate is in Australia and can see this moon right now during the day, what it would look like from his vantage point. Oh, and by the way, it's always the same fucking thing that we see, right?
It's just
right.
reverse.
What the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, we see it upside. He sees it upside down from us.
And I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Does he though?
All right, I'm gonna take a photo of my full moon tonight. Preston, can you do the same? And we'll compare them tomorrow.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's
a good idea.
It's an exact reverse of images.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Preston, I have your screens up to share. Here we go.
All right. There you go.
So what's this one?
Yeah, so like that's just distances at which these mountain ranges are away. So the best days to take pictures are like after a real heavy rain where there's like no atmospheric pressure. So you can take pictures.
You can see further.
You can see a lot further, yeah. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I stole some of these from a long time ago. So we were just discussing perspective and how our eyesight works and how horizons work. So I sent you a bunch of little things. Remember we were discussing this one day about how if the sun in comparison to a fireball to a light, the light gradually gets hotter as it comes to and away from you, and the way you experience the heat is very personal and local. And in comparison to a light fireball 93 million miles away, the Earth would just stay at a certain average temperature. It's only getting 12,000 miles closer to you. A fireball doesn't quite work like that in ways of heat physically. It would stay warm everywhere. But a light is very local when it starts hitting bouncing and refracting and things like that. Then we're talking a different ball game. But the way we experience the heat is with light. It's not with fire. So and I think this picture really sticks that out when you start thinking about how we experience the heat.
And also the size of it, right? Like, because if something's 93 million miles away, how close it is above my head or whatever.
And it's hot as fuck at 12,000 miles closer. Come on,
not just that. Not forget about heat, but like the size of it shouldn't change. Like if it's 93 miles away, 93 million miles away from me, the whole time it should be a constant size because it's only moving a little bit closer or further away than me. Like it shouldn't go from like tiny to massive above my head, stay a constant size, and then in the distance go smaller, 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 smaller. If it's 93 million miles away, it should always just be this constant size the whole way around the world.
It's really weird. Always be there. It's really weird how it behaves to a camera and to the naked eye.
Differently.
Like to the naked eye, it always seems like bigger on the horizon, and then it gets smaller, and then bigger away from you. Like it's bigger, smaller, bigger, and then to the camera, it's always small.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always small. So I don't get it.
Here's another one. Explain this one.
So
this is curved in different directions.
Right. So you can often see like 50 miles left to right on a flat direction. Like you can see 50 miles this way.
Yeah.
Flat, but people think you're losing eyesight 3-4 miles straight out. Like think about how that would mathematically not make sense.
Yeah, so literally what you're saying is you're sitting on a boat and you've got the shore like 100K that way and you've got nothing out this way. And you look out that way, it looks like it only goes for 3 miles, but you look left and right and you can see the whole coastline.
Mm-hmm. And it's so far. Yeah, you can see forever away. Or if like you could see a city in the distance, So it's just explaining how your eyesight works kind of. And you always notice how the furthest you can see is always eye level.
So someone's going to say now that's because of the curve. So explain the vanishing point, because I love the vanishing point.
Yeah, if you zoom back in, you can see the boat. Like if you lose a boat, you can zoom back in.
And here's the vanishing point.
And there's a vanishing point. Yeah, our eyesights work in a focal. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
okay, the reason why our eyes work like that, guys, you have to understand, is because we're not on one eye. If we had one eye, we would see different to what we see now. But you've got 2 points of reference that are triangulating. The reason why we do that is so we can grab things out of the air, right? It's part of our motor skills and our connection to what we're working through. So our eyes work to judge distance. And the only way we can judge distance is by that disappearing point. We can see things getting smaller, so our eyes know I've got to reach further to grab that thing.
Yeah, so our eyesight's very limited. I don't think, and a lot of flat earthers don't take that into consideration either. That it's hard to prove that the Earth is flat with our eyesight. Like it's impossible to prove that there's curvature or no curvature, because in retrospect to how big the Earth is, I don't think that you would. I personally think that the Earth's measurements as a sphere is impossible. That you would know it if you were on it with its measurements, but it'd be hard to prove it. Being what it is, actually, I think it'd be hard. Woo! About knocked something over.
Okay.
I can't believe I saved it.
That's what. And then we got one last one. This one here. Here we go.
Yeah, see, a lot of people were like, "What about things going over the horizon and going away from you?" It's just your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's perspective, guys, and our eyes don't play tricks on us as much. But like, there's old sayings where it's like, "Don't believe everything that you see," right? Or everything that you hear.
Well, yeah. What's that saying? Believe half of what you see, or like half of what you hear, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the saying.
And if you just look at the sleight of hand of what the governments are doing to you now, look at the sleight of hand of politics and everything else. Look at the fact that every single kids program will, like, I was reading a book with my son this morning, and the first thing it had on it was like, A is for astronauts. And I'm like, oh yeah, where are they going?
A is for actors.
That's right. That's fucking right.
That's what my wife, not my wife, my daughter calls astronaut. She's like, "Oh, it's fake. They're actors."
Yeah.
She already knows. Yeah. She's really smart. So one day, I'm constantly like theorizing with her. I talk to myself, and I'll talk to anybody. If nobody's around, I'll talk to myself. So one day we were riding in the car, and we're sitting at a red light, and she goes, "Dad, did the trees create air? Like, because it seems like they shake and release the air, and then the wind blows and it takes the air away." And then I posted that on Facebook, and somebody posted a meme verifying that that was true. Like, they release like a chemical, and that chemical reacts with the environment, and it creates them to create air, I guess, and wind.
We don't know when they breathe out or anything like that. Like, and the thing is that even if we did know, no one would tell us, because there's probably a secret to us that helps us.
Yeah, but she said that she could see the trees like shake, and then that's when they released it, and then
I see it now. Now that you just described it like that, I see that.
Yeah, and then I saw it too. Once she said it, I was like, "Huh?" And then I just repeated it. And then somebody came back to me on the internet from some science meme and was like, "Your daughter actually sounds like she knows what she's talking about." Like, I was like, all right.
When you're not indoctrinated, what's there? It's the truth.
Well, when your mind just thinks like ideas and what it sees, it's usually what you're seeing is the 100% truth. You're just not able to say it. It's been blinded by some other fictition. Like, so.
Yeah, that's what we got right now. Like, they've convinced with their heavy spell that they've got everybody under to not believe reality that you see with your eyes. Like, nobody's dropping dead. Well, people are dropping dead now from the vaccine, but reality showed us that nothing bad was happening with COVID. That's reality, and they were told, don't believe what you see, believe what we're telling you. That's the fucking big lie, and it's been going on for how long now? Centuries.
Yeah, and the whole do as we say, not do as we do. Like, none of them are wearing masks at none of their events. Or you ever seen that picture with OC or whatever, the government person, where she's got that dress on, tax the rich or whatever, and then they're at an event where all the slaves are black, wearing black dresses, and they're all wearing masks. Like,
It's on purpose.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's on purpose.
Well, I think what they're trying to do right now is to rev all of us up so we go crazy, they can fuck us off. Because if it wasn't for us, no one's getting out of this alive. The people that are awake are the only thing stopping this from going to shit.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking badass motherfuckers is what we are, for real.
Uh-huh.
That's the truth.
The emotional...
We're the elite. Hey, we're the fucking elite. We're the 1%. We're the 1%. That's the fucking truth. And everybody needs to start realizing that we are the guys. When all this dust shakes out, we're the fucking new celebrities. Like all those pedophile Satanists, they're done. They're gone. Yeah, I gotta watch my mouth. Sorry, man. I know we're on your.
The truth is, we're not the 1%, though. We are, and we're not the heroes until we're old. And then people are like, we should have listened to Grandpa Preston. He actually was talking the truth, or he's dead now, and I don't have answers or questions to ask him. And that's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like, why didn't I talk to him? Like,
I don't think it's gonna be like that, bro. You're gonna have your day in the sun, guaranteed.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna guarantee I'm having my fucking day in the sun, no doubt. I know it. I can feel it. I fucking know it.
I know it's coming for all of us. Like,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. But how do we work on not alienating people because our message is Z. It's so Z compared to their A. Like,
yep.
Yeah. And I find that important is to not alienate A with our Z. I find it very important. Yeah. So
I think there's an element of like shaking the cage a bit to wake them up. But I think it's really about that heart-centeredness of explaining the spell to them. And I think we're doing a really good job at that.
Wait, here's the truth. They're not going to wake up until death shows up on their doorstep. And it's coming. Yep. It's coming for them. So they're going to have their moment. And some of them still won't wake up. Mm-hmm. But as for right now, I'm not with them in any way. I'll give them compassion. I pray for them every time I meet somebody that tells me they went and got the vaccine. I think to myself, holy shit, this person might not be with me in a few years. Yep. And I say a prayer for them and I say a blessing. But as far as trying to get anybody on board with my thing, no, I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm done with that. I'm for my people. I'm here to protect my people right now, the people that want to be on my team. And then the other guys, when they come, they'll come and my door will be open to them always. Mm-hmm. But I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying about alienating people.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be where I am without a lot of my help I have from these people. So that's my thing is like where I am today is due to a lot of help. Like I've had a lot of help to be like I've hit rock bottom a lot, So I've had a lot of help to lift me back up.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm just saying that they've alienated us. That's
yeah, I think so too. I think it's more of them. Like if you look at it, right. No one in my country right now that doesn't agree with this wants to discriminate. We're not saying fuck the vaccinated. We're saying like, can't we all just be normal again? Mm-hmm. There's no in our.
Well, I think we also have different Karens that we're all dealing with. Like, because my Karens aren't that bad, and like we're the people. Our fences are separated here in Texas, where it's kind of like, oh fuck you, I believe this. Fuck you, I believe this. Fine, that's fine. When we don't care, like it's cool. Like, you get vaccinated, you wear your mask, that's fine. Like I'm not. You're cool. Leave me alone. And it's like that here in Texas. So it's not. Yeah. It's a different paradigm for me.
Yeah. I think more than anything, we have to realize that not everyone's coming. I think we have to spend quality time with people that we care about that might not make it to the other side. But ultimately, we're the sum total of the people we spend time with, guys. And I'm glad 2 of the people I spend time with are you.
What about the
right on.
Did you see that Neo Matrix meme where the machine, and you've seen the way that the carbon shot reacts to frequencies? Yeah, so that little metal stuff that like coagulates together
Steffi Graf
reacts to like sound frequencies. And it's very much in the same way that thing that climbed in the belly of Neo at the beginning in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, I remember that watching that parasite thing enter him, and yeah, like I've watched the lady go on the beach and pick up that stuff, and when she picked it up off the beach, it covered the magnet and then started to move and fucking make its own thing with it. It was very not right. Yeah, Peter, that's the one we're talking about. We can't say the name.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that you can't talk about big pharma?
Oh yeah.
I find
Isn't it crazy that we have to use words like
quacks.
45 and stuff like that? This is nuts. This is nuts.
And not just that, you can't write a word in a sentence and anyone will see it. Like I'm the most shadow banned person I know, and literally, if I wrote a word, that post will get 0 views.
Yeah, I figured out all these different ways to post my YouTube channel without it getting flagged. You have to use all the little tricks and tools.
No, I'm gonna go try that magnet fish.
They want you paying for like pages now. Every social media site has an advertisement link now. You can pay for advertisements, so you're no longer a part of the algorithm unless like every single one of your friends like and share your stuff.
Yeah. And that's what we've realized. Like that's the part of it's important now is that everyone shares all the shit we're doing and we're going to get everybody else making videos like us, like we said earlier, because I think that at scale, the algorithm can't handle so much truth.
Yeah.
Because you're adding friends all the time. I'm adding friends. Tom's adding friends. Preston's really strategic with the way he adds them, so he doesn't have anyone that's always in an immediate circle. Like he won't add someone who has 100 people the same as us. He tries to strategically get outside the bubble.
Yeah, I try to keep. I try to do it always under 10 usually, and with a certain people and in certain categories. So I look for popular posts that kind of get popular, and then I look for people who generally have a family, have a real profile picture, real name, no knockoff names, Jimmy Johnson, no double names, no Echo E, no stupid names, no nickname. I don't do anything like that. I do basic name, family, basic picture, and then if we have like generally 5 common friends, I like it just like that because then you're getting outside the bubble. Think if I have like 5,000 friends and we all have like 500 friends in common, or if I had 5,000 friends and we all have 5 friends in common, I might know everybody in the United States might know me.
Yeah,
like might know somebody who knows me. Like
they love helping you. They love helping you find more people in the same bubble, so you never get into a new bubble.
Right. So if that was my thing is, and also trying to venture in topics and threads where maybe I'm not quite in that thread. That's why I also like TikTok because you can get into entertainment and comedy type entertainment, and then spread a little truth and then get more viewers that way. That are a lot of people that are into conspiracies. They just want to be entertained. A lot of them aren't really looking for truth. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists who do not really care about truth. It's something they do as something after work. They get done. They want to watch a Masonic video of the symbolisms and geometria that they've seen, and that's what they want to do. They just want to look up that all day long. So.
They say they're not interested in the truth, but they are because they wouldn't be watching it if they're not.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
they're solely in.
No, they're interested, but I'm saying a lot of them are saying they're interested, but they're really just wanting to be entertained. Like they're
like food for thought. Give them something.
Yeah. It's kind of like the same reason my wife watches reality TV. She's just wanting to be entertained. It's food for thought. It's good information. It's better than like drama, but they're doing it for the same reason.
It's escapism.
But I think they're. What I'm saying is they're open. They're the right audience because these guys, my trolls in them, they would never even watch these shows. Is what I'm telling you. Yeah. They don't even want to see it. Turn it off because they can't risk possibly being interested in that or maybe something catching their eye that might make sense. They don't want it.
That's what the silver lining with COVID has been. It's woke a lot of people up that normally wouldn't probably be interested in a conspiracy type conversation.
Definitely.
All truths will be revealed.
My man, I agree. Gentlemen, thank you very much for today. I think we'll call it a wrap. It's an hour 40. We've done really, really well. thank you for coming on, Tom, and being our special guest for today. I think that we've definitely got to have Preston on our channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for the next week and a half. I might not be able to do any podcasts for a couple weeks. It'd be nice to be able to do one at the beach, though. I'm gonna try to get a moon observation in with the full moon, but I was saying the moon's been taking the clouds with it. So every night I want to do the multiple observation from different clouds, like a couple miles apart. There's no cloud. The moon sucks them all up. So.
Okay. I was going to say to you, maybe we can do an Insta Live as well, because that's kind of easy and convenient. We can do something on there while you're away.
All right. I'm going to bring my computer with me. So.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Boys, that's a wrap for the day. Thank you, audience, for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Guys, I'll see you in the Untitled Chapter.
All right, guys. You too, brother.
Stay on, boys.
All right.